So you want to start a personal training business. So you're either a qualified personal trainer or you wish to qualify as one. And you want to make sure you are not one of the 80% failing within the first 3 years of being in business. In the past few years, the fitness business has changed quite radically, and it's getting a slice of the cake is getting far harder. Today I'm going to show you how to set up a successful personal training business that can thrive in this crowded market. For this very first part of the video, I'm gonna use an analogy that is quite simple that helps you understand what I'm talking about. You need to consider this part of the business as you will be learning driving a car. You're gonna need a driving license, you're gonna need an insurance, and you're gonna need the car at some point. Your certifications and qualifications are going to be your driving license. Nowadays we have different options. We can have an online course, we can have a physical training providers, or you can have a bit of both. Remember guys that if you've never done this job before, your qualification and your certification actually represent your experience. My suggestion is to go to the physical option. You want to go to that training provider that shows you maybe equipment that you've never seen before, and it's also giving you opportunity to test your knowledge, test your skills on people like you that want to be providing this service in future. You're also gonna be seen by other potential personal trainers or somebody who already is, and you can have a straight feedback on the moment that when you make the mistake. With the online option, yes, it's highly convenient, it's possibly cheaper, but you're not going to have that sort of feedback. Remember one thing guys, if you want to be a bricklayer, you won't be doing an online course. You want to get your hands dirty, practicing and gaining experience as you study. This is a very highly physical service, so you want to be able to see and test things on your own, on yourself. You can spend as much as you want on a training. Just remember guys, it's not the amount of money you spend on certification to determine if you're going to be a good personal trainer or not. You need to see if your training provider ticks all the boxes. For example, being recognized wherever you want to train, if it's easy to insure, if it does provide a basic business understanding as well. If you don't want to just learn anatomy, how to program exercises and so on, you want to make sure that you're going to be a successful business. So if you find a training provider that it provides business information on marketing and so on, that would be ideal for the first beginning. It might be more costly, it might require a little bit more investment on that, but it would be worth it in the long term. So you want to make sure that your training provider contains the basics that are relevant to you. The other thing I will say is I have made personally the mistake to purchase a big package where it includes so many levels of personal training or life coaching and so on. So that package I spent so much money that at the end, A, I didn't need most of it, B, I didn't even finish it. I went out of the course because I started working. I was so busy that I couldn't keep up with the study. So I ended up losing some of the training packages I paid for. So if you can, go in stages. Start from the basics and you can always add up courses later. Yes, it's gonna possibly cost you more on the long run, but you're only gonna be selecting the one you are sure to be used in the long term. So now that we have covered the certification side, we need to look at the insurance. You're going to look for mainly two types of insurance. One is personal, for your personal training business, and that covers you and your clients. Ideally, you want to check what is a minimum requirement for your area to be trading as a personal trainer, and make sure that you purchase the right insurance for yourself. You don't want to pay for services that are extra, like if you're a weightlifting coach, you don't need to have for yoga and other things like that. That way you're gonna save a bit of money and you'll be covering yourself specifically for what you provide. The second type of insurance is mainly for the building. When I say building, means mainly its content. The structure needs to be insured by the renter. Unless you are the owner of the place, then yes, you need a building insurance as well. Otherwise, you are looking for an insurance that insures you to legally be able to open doors to other people. And you're also being covered for any other fire risk or for any other electrocution, for example, and stuff like that. That also includes people. If, for example, you're renting out your place to other personal trainers and you're not 100% sure that certification is in date or that insurance is in date, you want to make sure that you insure people in the building in case they get hurt. So that mainly apply only if you have a personal training studio on your own. If you're renting out somewhere else, you just need your personal as a personal trainer and you won't need any other added cost basically. So it's now time to talk about the car, so that means your facility, and obviously there are multiple options here too. The first thing you could do is work for free on your own. You can use parks, you can use open spaces, but you would be subject to the weather. I used that option at the beginning when I was still on my previous job, so on my spare time I will go with my clients to parks or car parks, have some equipment in my car and train them just locally, obviously close to my area. Being in England, the weather was never on my side, so I've decided to go and work for a gym. So I found a place where I could work for free in exchange of a certain amount of hours. In that hours I was doing classes, keeping the gym tidy and do some sort of cleaning. That is where I've started from, but I realized that there were better options. One of that is to actually pay hourly a gym, a local gym, where you can bring in your personal training clients and pay for yourself only by the hour. You can also opt to use a personal training gym studio. Then again, it would be possibly hourly, or if you have a lot of clients, you can have a monthly rental, but it's a better option because they tend to be less busy, so there is less crowd around, there's less people around. Like this place, for example, I use it for myself and I rent it out to personal trainers in the area, and I charge them either hourly or monthly. It depends on how busy they are. The other option you can have is to open your own place, like I did. It depends where you go. Rules have been simplified in a way that you can open a small gym studio pretty much anywhere. As far as you have the certifications and the insurance, you will be fine to go. And obviously at the last, you might not need any of them and you're gonna work online only. Talking about online, now we're gonna have a look at what kind of marketing and media you need to use to scale your business up. The first thing you're going to need is the logo and the graphics. And to get them done quickly, you got two options. One is do it yourself with a very basic website. You can use, for example, Canva. If you don't know what Canva is, I'm gonna leave a link in the description area so you can have a look later at it. Or you can actually go on a website like Fiverr and post your job, and people will prepare professionally your logo, your designs, and your graphics. It is essential that you do the things right at the beginning, because all your designs should be rotating around the colors and the shapes that you've been using on your logo or on any other graphics. So if you want to prepare some flyers, some business cards, or even your website, you will need to be based on your logo. Talking about website, again, I suggest to have one. I mean, people will not know about you existing if they cannot find you anywhere. And because I don't really know you much, the website, it could be a very easy point for all clients to find you. So people might Google you first before they actually go on Facebook and Instagram, for example. I don't know where your business is based on or what you're actually using to advertise yourself. So having a basic website will help people to find you. At the very beginning, I also suggest you to use as many media platforms as possible and be very selective in the way that you post. You might have one post that works for all of them and you just basically copy and paste all throughout the media platforms you're using. As the time goes by, you see that you have more traction on one specific platforms. I would say abandon all others and focus on only one, the one that actually generates some future income. As the time goes by and you see that you have more traction in a specific type of post, I will also say focus your business around that. I'm sure at the beginning you're gonna post a lot about weight loss, you're gonna post about weightlifting and what suggestion you can give and blah blah blah. But if you see, for example, that your weight loss post and your clients generally come for weight loss only, then you can possibly focus all your marketing material around this particular niche. We're gonna see about how to niche down a little bit later on in details, but at the moment try to understand you're gonna be more generic at the very beginning of your business, and then as you go after the first few months you're gonna have to make a decision to where you want to direct your business, to where you want to point to. But if you have the capital, you can also outsource all these little things and ask somebody else to take care of it. That will save you plenty of time. It's going to be done more professionally, but it will require a big investment from your side. Should you do any offline marketing? By my modest opinion, I would say yes, you should go for it, especially at the beginning. But don't go crazy. You're going to need basic stuff like some business cards, some leaflets. Maybe if you're working inside a commercial gym, you're going to need some banners, some posters that you can put around. All these packed together might not guarantee to you any clients, but it will increase definitely the visibility to the kind of public, the kind of audience that is is not really online most of the time. It's important that for your offline materials, marketing materials, you are going to use the same graphics, the same designs that you have been using on your website, on your media pages as well. You can potentially invest in future on clothing as a sort of marketing, offline marketing material, but that's something that is very expensive to run, and I would suggest you to have a look at that only once you start to have a decent amount of clients coming in. Now the part I'm most passionate about, the business plan and the financial side of the business. When I started being a personal trainer, I had a very basic understanding on the financial side, as I never done this sort of work before. I had previous experience in management, so I managed to arrange an ideal list of costs that I could go through during my first 5 years of the business. So my initial budget, it was only going around what I was doing at the time, my decision at that time. I've decided at the time to work for a commercial gym where in exchange of my hours I would get free rent. So that was already out of the equation for my business plan. So my initial cost would be only around the marketing material I was preparing. At that time I just went for posters, I went for my website, my logo being designed, and a lot of Facebook advertising. On the top of that, you also need to add the money that you already invest on the qualifications that you're going for or you went through already. If you're going for the option to rent a place, either hourly or monthly, you're gonna have to budget for that too. Don't forget all the insurances, any clothing, and any other possible equipment that you are going to need to exercise your profession. Once you have created this list of costs for possibly the first year in business, I want you to take that amount and double it, and consider now that amount the basic line that you need to work for. I have personally underestimated my cost line, and because of that I ended up being basically broke for the first part of my personal training business career. Now that we've looked at the cost, let's look at the source of income that you're going to have. Here you can diversify, but you can also be very specific on what you want to focus on. One of your main source of income is going to be your one-to-one sessions with your client. So start to estimate how many sessions you're going to have per week / per month / per year, and how much you're planning to charge for that, and work out what sort of income you're gonna get out of this specific option. You can also do groups and classes. This is another source of income that you can add to your one-to-one personal training. And another thing you can potentially do when you have the time is the online side, the online business. That's something that you can do along your face-to-face training, either with one-to-one or groups. And it can also be an upsell for your groups, for example, if they wish to train on their own, or for your own clients. Things can complement each other. On your budget, you also need to understand if you're going to be doing this as a full-time job straight away, or if it's going to be something that you do on your spare time. This will help you to understand your cost better, and you can estimate how much you're going to make from your business, from your personal training business, along with what you're already doing with any other jobs. So we went through now all the requirements that is necessary to open a very basic personal training business. Now let's move on to the client side and see what you are required by law and how you can actually get into having your very first client. So here in UK, you require a number of modules, a number of forms being filled up prior starting your personal training with the client. We are talking about the Part Q and the consent form. Just to be more clear, in my case, I've added the GDPR forms too, just to avoid any nasty legal issues in terms of marketing. And to help my website to rank better on Google, I've also done all these forms in an online version on my website. Every time I have a new client, I send their links, and they're gonna have to go through page by page to all of those, and that will help my website to rank better on Google, because Google will take in consideration the amount of time people spend on your website. So everything counts. Also, those minutes spent to fill up the forms will be added to your total. But I don't want you to consider those as the major script for your consultation with clients. I suggest you to have your own consultation script that you're going through with clients to qualify them. So it's more like a sales / helpful consultation that you're going through with the client. Finding out more about clients is not more helpful because you're gonna give them a better outcome with your service, but it's also a way to pre-qualify them to your service, to your sales, and to see what kind of product you can offer them to achieve what they're looking for at their best. In this gym, for example, I offer personal training and group training. Once I speak to them, I can advise on my best to see what is the best service they should go for, maybe personal training, maybe groups, maybe both combined. In that way, they will achieve the most with the budget that they had in mind. You are now legally ready to train a client. This can be at the beginning one of your friends, it can be some family members, or you can even give free PT sessions to somebody that you don't know, that you've been speaking about your future personal training plans, so you can start to be more visible about the gym floor or wherever you are. To get your first real client, your goal is to be more visible. People need to know about you. If you are the best personal trainer in the world but nobody knows, you're gonna have a failing business. So at the very beginning, your goal is to get as much visibility as possible. Maybe even some reviews on Google, on Facebook, wherever you are using, whatever platforms you are using, try to get as many reviews as possible. Some PTs will disagree that giving sessions for free is a good, helpful tool for your business. But I personally think if at the beginning you have only time to give away, give it away and give it away for free. When people will see you in action and they will see the way you work, they will trust you more. They're also gonna start to check on you on Facebook, on Instagram. So if you can start to collect some material in exchange of the free session, then you can post it and people can start to find more about you. So you start to generate some traction on your business. Hopefully, all this visibility has generated some inquiry and you are going to have your first client. But how much are you going to charge for your business? Again, you need to take in consideration a lot of factors here. Number one, it will be your age and your experience. How old are you? Are you an 18 years old living with your parents, or you are a 40 years old having a family and kids? Also, how much experience you have in the field. How long have you been personal training for? What results can back up the pricing that you are offering? I also suggest you to do a very deep research on how much personal trainer charges around your area and what they're actually offering in exchange. I also want you to take in consideration if you have any specific experience or specific qualifications. All these factors together are going to help you to determine what is going to be the final price. And remember that you can always generate different options for different packages, but you need to have a baseline that helps you to keep paying the cost that we have listed on our business plan and give you also some sort of profit. How are you going to take payments now? There are again different options for different people. And the first one, the easiest one, is obviously cash. I had situations where my clients had cash in themselves and they wanted to pay straight away. Don't say no to that. If that's what they have, take it. Also, cash does not require you have any other sort of tools to take payments, so it's going to reduce your overall cost. The second option you can go for is a bank transfer. Again, that one is free, but it requires a bit more trust to your clients because sometimes they can be late. A good backup to avoid this issue is to have a card payment device in your unit or with you. You can download an app and buy a separate card reading device and keep it with you when you need it. At the end of the day, they're not gonna charge you monthly, they're gonna charge you per transaction, and that way you're gonna have the chance to get the payment straight away instead of waiting. Talking about waiting, do not wait to take a deposit. The deposit is the main thing that keeps your business running. If you are doing a consultation or at least an assessment with somebody new and they are interested and they say, oh, I have to think about that, start to convince them to reserve the spot by paying a deposit, a non-refundable deposit. People paying a deposit are more likely to go ahead with your business simply because they think about the risk of losing their deposit. For your deposit, you can take something like 20 to 30% of the total value. It depends how much it is. Or you can even ask them to prepay in advance all the amount before they go ahead. So now you should have been in business for some time and you already had maybe 10, 20, 100 clients. I don't know. You know more or less what you are good at, what kind of clients you are attracting, and what you need to specialize on. This is actually called niching down. It means take away things that are not relevant to your business so much and you focus on one main point that really make your business thrive. You could be great in weight loss, you could be really good in bodybuilding, or you are great in strongman. It could be anything. Now it's time for you to niche down and specialize, and make sure that you back that up with proof of expertise. It can be from you, it can be from client, but you need to make sure that you gain trust from your future clients. In the future videos, we are going to expand each of the points we discussed today in details, but meanwhile, if you have any questions about how to set up your personal training business and how to make it successful, please leave it in the comment area and I will answer as soon as possible. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I will see you on the next one. Ciao!